Mystery Science Theater 3000 is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. It ran for 10 seasons, 11 if you count its run on public access, with a total of 197 episodes and a movie. Now the show is being rebooted with an all-new cast, thanks to a very successful Kickstarter that raised over $6 million. The premise of the show was an interesting spin on movie hosts. The twist is the characters would interact or riff with the movie in silhouette. This sort of thing isn't for everyone, but the fans of it really love it. And this brings me to the topic of this video. Movie riffing shows that aren't MST3k. Now I love Mystery Science Theater, but there's also a lot of really cool riffing projects out there. I've seen fans act like it's blasphemy to have a riffing show without the MST3k logo on it. But the way I view it, if there can be countless procedural cop shows out there, then there can be just as many shows making fun of bad movies. And it's not like MST3k was the first thing to do that. I mean, it came from Hollywood, came out in 1982, years before Misty. And if you can ever get your hands on that gem, I highly recommend it. The first riffing project I recommend comes from the stars of Mystery Science Theater itself. Mike Nelson, Kevin Murphy, and Bill Corbett riff on some of the most popular Hollywood movies, as well as the weird stuff you come to associate with movie riffing.
That look is from the Guy You Alert the Flight Attendant About collection.
You can download RiffTrax commentaries and sync them up with your movies. They also have some awesome titles on DVD, including some of their live riffs, which I definitely recommend are worth owning. But before there was RiffTrax, Mike, Kevin, and Bill had a little project called The Film Crew, which only had 4 episodes. And it's really unfortunate because they're on their A game with those movies. Utterly hilarious from beginning to end. If you ever check this out and find yourself wanting more, The Film Crew had one other DVD where they introduce Three Stooges shorts, but they don't riff on them. Cinematic Titanic has the rest of the MST3k cast: Joel Hodgson, Trace Beaulieu, TV's Frank, Mary Jo Pehl, and J. Elvis Weinstein. I actually had the honor of seeing Cinematic Titanic's final live performance in California. I got to shake hands and get all their autographs. It was amazing. Cinematic Titanic is no more, but if you can get a hold of their DVDs, I think you'll be in for a real treat. I have to admit, the silhouetted DVDs are not as entertaining, but the live recordings are worth their weight in gold. Elvira's Movie Macabre is a show from 2010, where the Mistress of the Dark, Elvira, actually dabbles in riffing territory. It's not the silhouetted riffing we all know and love, but instead the audio will cut out and Elvira's face will pop out with little riffs here and there. I've heard some people say it's distracting, and I get that criticism, but I still think it's cool. Cartoon Lagoon is an odd one. As far as I can tell, there's only 1 episode despite having a preview for a second on the DVD. Cartoon Lagoon features puppets riffing on public domain cartoons in a submarine. This episode has some pacing issues, but it was such a fun idea I wish it lasted longer. Ken Cinema of Shenanigans is a fan effort created by Ken Doe. It features many of the characters from MST3k as well as new characters. The show was shot almost entirely on a green screen, and most of the bots aren't actually there. Full disclosure, I was in an episode, but don't let that put you off. Ken puts a lot of hard work into this. The Isle of Rangoon is something I stumbled onto while making this list. I haven't seen too much of it yet, but it's really cool. It features puppets, which is always a plus in my book, and there's so much creativity in what little I saw I had to mention them on this list. Mystery Science StoryBook is not quite riffing in the same way these other projects are, but I thought it was worth calling attention to. It's written by Sugar Ray Dodge, who's the editor of the official Riff Wiki. It's really cute and can be laugh out loud funny. In my opinion, it's a must for every MST3k fan. Now, I was a little hesitant about mentioning Josh Way and his Fun with Shorts and Flicks series, because it's mostly just a commentary, and if I mention him, I felt like I gotta mention hundreds of other people who do funny commentaries, like the Spoony one. However, Josh Way puts out consistent content that's extremely witty, and stands out among others that do the same thing. Bill Corbett of Mystery Science Theater says that Josh Way is the real thing, baby. He's a contributor to Mike Nelson's RiffTrax, and a writer for the Incognito Cinema Warriors. He has DVDs available if you're interested. I recommend supporting this guy, he's pretty cool. And here we come to the Incognito Cinema Warriors XP, which is in my opinion the very best riffing project of them all. Yes, that includes the original MST3k. Originally intended as a tribute to MST3k, the first season is very movie riffing based, and the second is very plot driven. I enjoy both formats the show has taken. Season 1 has a total of 4 episodes, and upon completion, Season 2 will have a total of 6. Series creator Rick Wolf has suggested that perhaps he'll go back and shoot 2 Riff-based episodes to complete Season 1, after Season 2 is done. Now, this isn't a sure thing, but man, I hope they do that. Incognito Cinema Warriors is not limited to movies, shorts, oh no. They also have a video game Let's Riff series on YouTube, and it's wildly hilarious. They have most of their show on DVD, and a few that are available for free on YouTube. The characters are wildly funny and unique. The show is just steaming with production value. There is so much talent and passion that can be seen in every frame of this show. But don't take my word for it. Mike Nelson of MST3k says, "These guys are good. Fast-paced, funny riffing throughout." Now, if you're interested in any of these shows, I'll include all the links you'll need in the description. Well, that was my list of movie riffing shows that aren't MST3k, and I hope you enjoyed it. There's actually more riffing shows than that out there, but these were ones that I particularly just enjoy or just found interesting, and I hope you check them out. I kind of had to create rules while I was doing this, because since I mentioned Josh Way, should I mention the Spoonie one? And then I was like, well, Spoonie hasn't done a riffing video in like 3 years, so I guess not. You know, stuff like that. That's why there were some other shows that were like MST3k homages that I didn't mention, because they made like 2 videos and they were done. But I hope you check out these shows. A lot of people that work on these things put a lot of work into them, and I think it shows. If you're interested, I'm actually trying to make my own riffing show. I actually have the set for it right behind me, the beginning of the set. It's called Midnight's Haunted Drive-In. It's a homage to Mystery Science Theater, Elvira, the 1975 Ghostbusters. It's a big passion project. I've spent so much money trying to get it made, and in order to get it done in a reasonable amount of time, I'm actually doing an Indiegogo for it at the point that this video is being recorded. So if you want to check that out, link to the Indiegogo will be in the description. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was actually harder to edit than I thought it would be. This was intended to be like this short little video to fill in time on my channel. It ended up being like this big monster that kept on taking up more space on my computer. But yeah, I hope you liked the video. Check out those content creators. They're great. We'll see you next time in whatever video that might be.